I'm sure some of you watching this experience that feeling of like, crap, I should have bought Bitcoin while it was cheap. Well, here is your second opportunity to feel that way because we're talking about a cryptocurrency known as Helium, which is skyrocketing in price right as we speak. I mean, look at this. It's around $15, up from $1 back in January. On this channel, I've been researching different projects that have unique ways of mining cryptocurrency, and Helium kept showing up in my comments. And it sounded so familiar. I was like, where have I heard of this Helium thing? And once I checked out their website, boom, I knew that we actually spoke before last year when I saw one of their ads for their Wi-Fi thing. And I was like, dude, I have no idea what this is for, but it's cool. So I'm going to try to get one. Well, turns out I didn't get a free one. But the point is that maybe there's still an opportunity to provide internet capabilities to Internet of Things devices and get paid for it. And we need to find out, is this something that's profitable compared to some of the other networks? I ultimately want to figure out which ones reign supreme. Oh, unrelated, and I'm not sponsored. That was a coincidence. 1895, guys. They've been around since 1895, changing the world of decentralized networks. It's crazy. Regardless of when they started, they're still fairly new because everybody to this blockchain world is fairly new. It's an entirely new industry. So what this company does in the future, I think there's huge potential. This is just the start. The idea behind Helium is to provide internet connectivity to IoT devices. So we set up hotspots and Internet of Things devices can connect to them. So what is IoT? Well, just so we're all on the same page, IoT stands for the Internet of Things and refers to the ability for all things to be connected to the internet. So most people think of smart devices, whether it's some smart bottle that keeps track of your drinking habits. But I think a big part of IoT that most people don't think about is sensors. So if you think of sensors that keep track of temperature or atmospheric pressure, or sensors in factories to keep machines running properly, these all produce a lot of data and oftentimes need to be connected to the internet. So Helium is a solution for all of these devices to be able to connect to the internet through the hotspots set up by you and me. So these hotspots will ultimately connect to the internet and provide internet to numerous devices. So yeah, you can help make a more connected future, but most of you watching that, you don't care about all that. You want to know how much money you're going to make. Well, when you set up one of these hotspots, you win Helium. But it's not so simple. It's not like you set up a hotspot and you just start making tons of money. Rather, it's really based off of the positioning of this hotspot and the usage of this hotspot. So the goal is to have coverage across an area, and this is a concept built into their network known as proof of coverage. So for example, if you have two of these hotspots within the appropriate distance from each other, you're going to win much more than just twice as much. Hopefully that makes sense. Basically, the people supporting the network, the people who might be considering mining, me and you, we're incentivized to spread out these hotspots in such a way to get the most coverage of an area. So the tokens behind Helium, there's actually two. There's HNT, or Helium, and then there's data credits. As a miner, you don't have to worry about data credits. These are what are used to use the internet provided by the Helium hotspots. So this is what the consumers of Helium need to worry about. So data credits ultimately come from Helium. As data credits are needed, Helium is burned to make the data credits. So as more data is being used, the amount of helium in circulation is reduced. So this could lead to an increase in price of the Helium cryptocurrency. Now, new Helium is still being introduced to miners to support the network. Now, just like Bitcoin and a lot of other cryptocurrencies, this is something where you're incentivized to get in early because the reward of Helium is halved every 2 years. So right now we're at 5 million new Helium a month, and coming up in August, that'll be split to 2.5 million new Helium per month. There's a maximum supply of 223 Helium, and the supply at that point will just continue to decrease as it's being burned for data credits. To get an idea of how much a hotspot can earn, they have a coverage map that'll actually show what each hotspot is earning, which I think is just the coolest thing. So you can check out the Explorer here. So it'll show the count of hotspots as well as where these are located in the world. So I'm from the US, so let's just take a look at maybe a big city here. Let's check out New York. Where the heck is New York? So you can see how the hotspots are spread out inside of New York. Let's just go ahead and take a look at one of these. So we'll just click one and then select that hotspot and view hotspot details. And you can scroll down and see the amount of rewards this person's getting. It looks like, they just opened this up pretty recently, April 5th, and they're earning about 8 or 9 helium a day, which honestly is just pretty crazy. I think the location you set this up is the most important thing. And then there's also optimizations for the antenna and, height and all these other factors that contribute to the effectiveness of this. But the ultimate thing is connecting to a network where there are other hotspots nearby. With one helium priced at currently $15, this person is making well over $100 every single day. And comparing that to what a hotspot actually costs, and I will say they're fairly expensive, you're looking at $300 for an entry-level hotspot. Either way, they're still making bank. But what about an area that's not covered as well? Because obviously New York City is going to be full of them. Let's just zoom out and find a location that might just have some lone hotspots just floating around. Here's one all by himself. Poor guy. Let's check this one out. So we'll view the hotspot details. And this one by itself is only getting around 4 helium a month. So that's not so great. I mean, ultimately, I think if you just leave it up, it can still pay for itself, but this really isn't a money-making opportunity in this situation. Because, you're looking at $50 profit a month, so it's going to have to be up for well over half a year just to break even, and that doesn't even consider the halving and all these other things, all these other factors, because as the network grows, the distribution stays the same, 5 million at the moment per month, but the number of people that's distributed to is increasing. So you have the halving, you have the increase in hotspots, and there's a pretty big delay on even getting the hotspots. So the reward may actually go down. I think the price could go up with that, so it might end up being the same, but it's just something to keep in mind. Let's find a hotspot that is paired in a group of 2. So, maybe something like right here, where we have 2 hotspots close to one another. So we'll take a look at this one first. And you can see that this one is really hardly earning anything at all. Let's check out this one. And this one's getting all the credit. I mean, look at that. 56 helium in 30 days. Wow. So this is definitely something where, maybe you have to do some experimentation. You don't just set up one and make a certain amount of money every single month. And when you do this, definitely do it in groups. So if you're going to buy one, you need to buy 2 at least. All right. So in that situation, just find a friend or a neighbor that is the appropriate distance, and you can do all the research for that and set them up in both locations. And that's going to more than double your earnings. So here is a basic split showing the different ways you can earn with Helium. Proof of coverage. Hotspots on the network are randomly and automatically assigned proof of coverage tests to complete. Passing and witnessing tests earns Helium. There's also relay device data, so hotspots earn Helium for transferring data over the network. The more device data a hotspot transfers, the more it earns. And then lastly, consensus groups. Trusted hotspots are randomly elected to consensus groups, earning Helium by validating transactions and adding blocks to the blockchain. So that's just a breakdown of some of the ways you earn. And now let's take a look at the actual hotspots. So these are the ones for sale, and it's pretty exclusive to where you have to buy one of these hotspots in order to contribute to the network. So I think a good place to start is with the Nebra indoor hotspot miner or the outdoor one. The indoor one is a little bit cheaper, but you might not get as good range or have the option to put it in a better place. So you just go to this website and you can scroll down and find Parley Labs. So this is for US. If you're in some of those other countries, then you can check out this site here. So from here, it's $350. And you pre-order for July. So that's another thing between the indoor and the outdoor. The outdoor might actually take longer to come in. So taking a look at the outdoor one, you can see that it's significantly more expensive and it doesn't come until August. And with this one, you also will need to get a form of power adapter. So that is a quick summary of Helium. Now, this is something that I'm by no means an expert in. I've just been just looking at their website and looking through their Discord, learning what I can. But I personally have not bought any of these hotspots yet. I'm heavily considering it, so drop a comment if you think it's something I should go for and set up a little network around where I live. And let me know if there's anything else like this or maybe some other unique ways to mine cryptocurrency, because I want to keep doing videos on it. I think it's exciting just to see some of the other options, so the default isn't just, oh, I'm going to set up an Ethereum miner. Well, we can look at some of these creative ways to get new cryptocurrencies. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to subscribe and stay tuned for our next 10 a.m. video tomorrow.